It's another episode of the Next Fix podcast. Today, we've got an advocate for recovery, somebody who has been boots on the ground in their own journey. And Laura has had the courage to decide to show up today, share her time with me and all of you, and express her story. And so that courage, I don't want to downplay it. It's very important. It's important for everybody to understand they're not alone because these types of journeys, these comeback stories that we all enjoy, well, they didn't usually start off so great. And she's decided to let us know what that has looked like for her. Laura, I'm truly grateful for you to be here and stepping into the stage, if you will, because I don't believe you've ever recorded anything before. Is that correct?
No. No, I have not recorded anything.
Okay. Right, right, but you expressed you wanted to share, and so we're gonna just jump into it. We're gonna get the formalities out of the way and just dive right in. I guess where did things really get tough for you, and when did you decide like, "Hey, I need to really do something about this in my life?"
I was in jail. Yeah. Ended up, getting into some trouble
Okay.
and, ended up going to jail. Getting in there a couple weeks, I decided that that just was not the place I wanted to be. I did not wanna be around a bunch of group of girls that can't get along. I didn't wanna be told what to do. I had been trying to get help a year prior to this. I had been trying to get help, and I just was not strong enough, and that's laying there on that cold concrete, freezing.
Yeah, so well, you said a year you were trying to get clean and then you ended up in jail. Well, I mean, what were you doing? What were you using? What was it? What would it look like maybe before jail?
Before jail, it was very chaotic. I was not a good person. I don't believe I was a good person. I would use you for anything that I could to get my next fix. I had been clean off fentanyl for 7 years. I moved back to this little town in West Virginia
Wow.
7 years prior to this from getting hooked on heroin in Ohio with from my mom. My mom was the first person to do heroin with me. So, I had a problem with it. I decided to come
Wow.
back to West Virginia from Ohio and, figuring that it would never make it to this town. And I guess just I thought if I came away and just hid myself here in this town that I would be better. But, I was not.
Sure. Yeah, and that's really a lot of people, they think if they change the location that they're gonna get clean, and then they realize that they brought themselves with them.
Yeah,
It's often I've done it a handful of times, like, I know what I'll do. I'll just move across the country, and it's gonna fix it.
right.
Now let me ask you, how old were you when you had used heroin with your mom?
I was pretty old because heroin's not the only thing that I have been on. That was just my main drug for the last 3 years of my active addiction. I forgot
Yeah.
what the question was, what you just asked me. I'm sorry.
Well, no, what was yeah, I asked how old were you when
Okay,
you used heroin with your
I was in
mom?
my 30s when I first ever tried heroin or fentanyl, but my addiction stems way back, way back. I've been hooked on everything from methamphetamine to cocaine, crack, pills, you name it. I've just about been on it.
Yeah. So when do you think it all started? Like, how old were you how old were you? Were you pretty young?
I was, let's see. Well, the first time I ever took a drink, I was 8 years old, and I believe that's all where it started from. Uh,
8.
eight, yes.
8 years old.
My mother,
God. Yeah.
there's 6 of us, and I'm the oldest out of 6 of us kids, and my mom was a, young mom. She was 16 when she had me, but she was already addicted to drugs. My grandmother, was raising me, and I did not know, I was passed back and forth between them. And I seen my grandma drinking, and I seen my grandma taking pills. And I remember once when I was little, I went off to play at a friend's house, and I came back home to wake my grandmother up, and I couldn't wake her up. And you're taught to call 911 as a kid if you have a problem, if you need help. I did that. She got extremely mad at me, and I would say I was only probably about 6 years old at this time. packed all my stuff up and made me go live with my mother. Me and my mom never had a relationship. I've never felt she's the mother type to me, and she wasn't. At that time when I was having to live with her, she started leaving me home alone at that age at, you know, 6, 7, 8 years old, leaving me home with my little brother. I was so young I couldn't pick him up, I remember, and I remember her teaching me how to use the microwave and test a bottle on my wrist to make sure it wasn't too hot to give to my baby brother. And I guess that's when had to
And you
start.
were like 6, 7 years old? Like,
Yes, yes.
oh
Okay.
my God.
So at this,
And so it was all around you. Your grandmother was drinking, and your mother was actively using, and here you are, you're 6 years old. Your mother isn't an adult, right? Like this, she's not even 20 or whatever it was. That's nuts. And so that's back when it had really started, and so your chances of not being an addict are very low, right, at this point, right? Like, the chances
yes.
of you becoming an addict are super high. Your mom was, and it's all around you. But you said heroin was your that was your thing, right? That was what.
Once I ran into heroin, yeah, that became the love of my life. I didn't do any other drugs when I was doing it. That's all that I wanted. It is really the devil to me. It took every last penny of mine. I just was not a good person. And like I said, I attempted one time to go to detox, and I went there. I thought I had waited long enough to be on on the medication on Suboxone, and I had not, and it had put me in precipitated withdrawal. They told me that could not happen twice, and they gave me my next dose, and it happened again. So they had a phone there,
Hold
and I
hold
went
on.
to a rehab that was hours
So
away.
tell me, no, sorry to interrupt you, but I don't know what that is. What did you call it? Because I've used a lot of opiates, but I've never heard of that term with Suboxone. What did you call it?
The MAT
Precipitated, what was
medication,
it?
the MAT program. It's the MAT program.
Yeah, I don't
It's
I'm sorry, I don't know
medicated
what it is.
assisted therapy. It is where you use a
Okay.
it is not a lot of people say it's trading one for the other. It is not. It's gave me life. It's made me a productive person. I today literally just got the news that I got a job and that I got another apartment. Yeah, I'm pretty proud about
All right. All right, and we're gonna dig into that because that's a blessing. That's huge.
yeah.
So back to, what was it? Medicated assistant treatment. So it's methadone clinic, yeah? It's just a
No,
methadone clinic?
no, I do not take methadone. I take Suboxone. And Suboxone is different from
Boxing, got it.
yes. It is different from methadone. I take I am prescribed 2 films a day. I take 2 8 milligram films a day. I don't know if I'm allowed to show it. Am I allowed to show it? Am I allowed to?
You know,
Maybe not.
I guess we won't just because I'm not quite sure, but so it's the Suboxone has allowed you to wean off of, well, 1, heroin,
Yes.
and so are you currently stepping down? Is that where we're at? You're
No,
currently, like, cutting that
no,
lower?
no. You
Got it.
can now be on it for the rest of your life if you choose to be. It's not something that you have to come off of if
Okay.
you do not want to. They do have a Sublocade shot, which is supposed to, you know, if you want to get off of it, I hear you get like 3 shots, one a shot a month for 3 months, and it is supposed to wean you off of the Suboxone that I'm on to not have no withdrawals. I might one day do that, but it's working for me,
Okay.
and I'm not. No,
I see.
I take my medicine every day.
Right. Right. And that's what I was about to ask you, is, what is your reason for continuing using the Suboxone if there is like an option out there to get,
Because
completely off everything? But
because
I get it. I understand.
it not only helps with cravings, going to go use. It also helps with the person's mental state of mind, and I'm just
Right.
not ready yet. I don't want to change
I see.
something that's working great. Yeah, I don't want to fix something that ain't broken.
Yeah.
If 20 months
Right.
ago,
Right. Right. Yeah.
20 months ago, you would not wanna know me. You absolutely wouldn't. We live in such a small town. No, I've made a name for myself here over the past 20, 25 years that I've used, but I've also redeemed myself too.
Yeah.
I know we're gonna talk about that later in there, but yeah, I've been doing some community service and stuff. So, um, I'm trying to give back.
So, what was the rock bottom moment, Laura? Like, when do you feel was, like, maybe the turning of the tides? Like, when did you start getting some, like, traction in recovery?
Do you mean as far as like starting to get somewhere and feel like you're getting somewhere? It's taken me
Well, maybe what was the lowest point of all of that? Like, what was something where you just made a decision?
to change, to stop using.
Yeah, was it in jail? Like, was
It was in
that
the
was
back of
the
the cop car, sick, so sick that I felt like I was dying. I felt like I wasn't going to make it. I knew then that I couldn't not get to heroin. I would be locked up and I could not get it. And I would have to go through the withdrawals and wait the days out to start on the medication to start feeling better. I knew in my mind after I left the rehab, the detox center, I knew that it was eventually going to come down to going to jail. I knew that that's the only way it
Right.
was heading. It couldn't have headed any other way.
And now why did you think that? Because you knew that was the only environment, you had no choice?
Yeah, right. I had no choice. But not
Yeah,
but I wanted that. That's what that's what I needed.
right.
I needed to be kept from being able to get the heroin in order to get on the medication. And like I said, detox should not allow a phone in that room. And, you should not be allowed, honestly, to make a phone call for at least 7 to 10 days. So you go through it, and
Yeah,
it would just be better to not have a phone in there to be able to call somebody to go home. Because I also went to a rehab 3 hours
right.
away thinking I wouldn't be able to find nobody to come pick me up. But boy, was I wrong.
Isn't that crazy? Like, you're doing all of this math in your head, and you're like, in the back of your mind, you're like, well, I won't be able to get anything in here. I won't be able to. And then somehow your addict mind is like so the tenacity in there. It's like you just figured it out. Like, and honestly, that's like I feel, and I say it a lot, like that's a superpower. If you could just take that and then like point it in the right direction, like with your new job or getting a new place, like you're superhuman because you can make anything happen when you're that, when you're that dedicated. Now I remember when I went to jail and I was coming off opiates and they handed me a bucket and they're just like, here you go. And it was like, I knew, like, okay, this bucket is for my vomit and I'm gonna lay here and I'm gonna just go through it. And it was weird how that all clicked in my mind when I had the bucket. And I'm like, what is this for? And I look left, I look right, and I'm like, oh God, that's what it's for. Everybody around me, everybody's puking, everybody's going through withdrawals. Oh my God, but there was an element, and I'll tell you this, that when I was in there, I didn't call anybody. Because in my mind, that's why I understand a little bit of what you're saying. It's like you almost want to not have an option. You know that that's the only way, is that if just it just isn't an option at all. So there you are, you're in jail, you're going through withdrawals in a cop car, but you end up in jail and you know it's coming. And throughout that withdrawal process, do you feel like that was really, when you were just like, I'm done. This is a true decision. I mean,
Yeah.
were you praying? I mean, how did that look like
No, I wasn't
when you were
praying.
locked up?
I was not praying. I just literally was tired. I was just tired. I was run down. I didn't have it in me anymore. I was just done. And jail is what I needed along with my medication. And like I said, maybe one day I'll come off of it, but everything's working good. And I know
Yeah.
years ago, like
So
this
you
is
can
new in the jails. Like it's new. being able to get Suboxone in jail. I think we've only been doing it here for like 2 years or something like that, 3 years. Not very long. Used to be that you don't have that choice but to lay there for however many days and suffer. But I only went through it for a couple of days in jail, and I got on the Suboxone. I got on the medication, and it took 5 days of their dosing to get my mind right, to get it from quit racing. I mean, I'm in jail and my mind is still racing, trying to figure out how I'm going to get something. And I'm locked up. I have no possible way, but my mind don't comprehend that.
And that's, yeah, that is it's such a unique experience, because you're right. The brain has, in true addiction, it only has one focus and it will do anything and everything. And yeah, I love how you put that though, because here it is, logically, there's no way to get what you really want. And it's that one thing. And yet the brain is still trying to figure it out. You're probably thinking about like causing a scene or picking a fight or going to the nurse in the hospital. You're doing and thinking of every single possible avenue to get to where you want to be. And that's being high again. And so how long were you in jail for while you were given the Suboxone and you started kind of
I was not in
like
there
getting in
long. I was in there 3 weeks. That's all that I was in
three
there.
weeks?
That's it. Yes. And then we have a Suboxone. We have a mobile unit that comes to our town once a week. And everybody, if you are on the medication in the program, you just can go right there because where I live, it's just a little town in West Virginia, no transportation here. Nobody has vehicles or anything like that. So that's nice. We have a van, a mobile unit that comes here every week where I get my medication and I have peer counselors there and I do therapy also with it.
So that's a pretty cool program. Now, how small is this town? You said a few times that what's the population or how many people are there?
I don't know. I don't know, but you can walk from one end of the town to the other in 15 minutes. It's just re-
Interesting.
really, really small. We got $2
Now, you
stores
you
here in a
mentioned
gas
that
station.
everybody.
Got one red
Wait,
light.
say that again?
I got two
How many
dollar
stoplights?
stores in a gas station and a red light.
One red light?
One. Yes, one.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't say that's that's a metropolis. That's it. But, I kind of identify with you because I had moved to a small town in Colorado. And I think there was like, I don't know, five, traffic lights, five lights maybe.
Yeah.
And I made a name for myself there too. And my nickname was Slut Ryan, right? It's pretty gross, but I mean, it was a part of my life. Pretty bad. But you mentioned that you had, obviously people in that small of a town, they're going to know. I mean, did were you able to get away with anything? Everybody of us have to know what you're doing.
No, I guess not because it went on. So, I mean, this town, everybody knows what the town's about. The older people know that, it's just what's honestly bad here. I was the oddball. There is not much fentanyl in my town. I have to travel to get it. I had to travel every day to get it. Every day I would wake up, figuring, wake up sick. How am I going to get money? Who am I going to scam today? Then I don't have a vehicle. How am I going to get a ride? And then who am I going to go because everybody rips me off? Who's going to rip me off today? And then, I mean, it was just the cycle every day, the same repetitive stuff. And
Yeah.
I don't know how we did it, but we did.
Yeah. Now, that's why you said earlier that you were tired. I mean, just every day. It's a wild journey, just to get by. You weren't getting high.
No, not really. I was just barely getting by. I was always sick. Always. If somebody come by and ask me how you doing for years, sick. How you doing? Sick, sick. That's all that I ever said. And happy to not say that anymore.
What was it?
I would always wake
What
up.
was it that did you lie about being sick or was it,
No,
or did you said the truth?
they knew. I
They
guess
knew.
I
Yeah.
guess she would say that they would be in enablers because they knew.
Wow.
But, you know,
Wow.
an addict's family, if the parent isn't an addict, you know, I guess, you know, a lot of people just didn't want us to be sick. Wanted us, you know, just just didn't want to see us sick because like I said, I was the oddball out of the bunch here and got on the fentanyl. And it
Well,
was a
you
struggle
were
every
mentioning
day.
how you were the oddball.
Yes, I was.
You're mentioning how you were the oddball, and you've also said "we." So, I guess who was with you during all of
Oh, I'm
this?
sorry. It's my fiance. We have been together on and off 20 years. We
20
went through our
years.
addiction together and we've gotten sober together. Couples can
That's good.
do it.
Right, which is, that's even extra hard because, if one person starts to get wobbly, the whole thing falls apart. And so that's a blessing that the 2 of you have, found
Can I
a
say,
recovery journey that you could do together.
I'd like to say this. My fiance tried to stop me. He went around to everybody around here that he knew that would be giving me something and did something, you know, whatever to try to get them to not sell to me. And I believe that since he couldn't get him to stop and I wouldn't stop, and I'd be straight lying to him, you know, nodded off, no, I'm not doing nothing. If he started doing it, and I feel I have a blame. Like I feel bad for that. I feel like his addiction for the fentanyl was my fault, but he is a
Yeah.
grown person too. But yeah, he tried to he already knew that I was on it bad, and he tried to stop it. But a drug addict will
Yeah.
you will find your way. If you want it, you'll get it.
Right.
People say drug addicts
Well,
are lazy. They're the farthest thing from lazy, I think.
it is, and it's the deepest and darkest superpower, but it exists. I know that if you have that level to get to get through just one of those days of using, then you have the ability to accomplish who knows what, right? So
Yeah.
now we just need to take the energy and then, right? And you're doing that, right?
Yes. Oh, yes, I
Because,
am.
you had mentioned. Yes, yeah,
I
right.
am.
So, back to the kind of the timeline, you get out of jail and then now you're on Suboxone. And so that was the only real like resource. I mean, did you go to NA? Did you, I mean, you
They don't
mentioned some
have that
therapy
around
with
here.
that.
There's no classes around here like that. No groups. I am trying to start one right now because there isn't
Okay.
one here.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
I did just finish my 46-hour peer recovery support specialist class also.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, look. So that is, most certainly that energy now being directed in something that's not selfish and something that's valuable and something that, it can be easily accomplished for a person like yourself, right? If you could get all of those hard days that you managed to get through and survive, which your survival rate is 100% of all those days, right? And you bottle up all that tenacity and now you're pointing it towards being part of the recovery community on the right side of it, right? You're
Yes.
no longer shaking and sweating, but you're actually helping other people in the same situation.
Yes.
It's absolutely amazing. And what do you accredit your recovery success to? Is it your fiance? Is it the Suboxone? Is it your willpower? I
I
mean,
say it's
what would
me.
you say?
I say it's me. I say it's my willpower. It is. I am putting all that energy that I used in active addiction. I am putting it back into. I am giving it back. I am doing everything possible. Like I told you, I've been volunteering at our warming center around here. Yeah, I've done my. I just got done taking care of a 17-year-old DUI. I just got done taking 6 weeks of a DUI class here that I completed. So I am really on the ball of moving along.
Yeah. Right. And so you've got this momentum, and it's similar to like a train. It starts off so slow. You're just like, I'm not getting anywhere, right? And it's like
Yes.
moving, these wheels are spinning and there's nothing happening. However, in your particular recovery journey, you're starting to see that momentum,
I
and it's starting to
finally am.
blast off because
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
finally
and so
starting to
now
see it.
all these things, all these things are starting to happen, and it's gonna continue to be that way. I believe that wholeheartedly. Like, sure, the recovery, did you say recovery coach or peer specialist? Which one was it?
Peer specialist, peer
Peer
recovery
specialist, yeah.
specialist.
Yeah, and so, I mean, that's an integral part of many people's recovery journeys, and so now you had, real action going on, in active addiction, but now that energy has been turned into something constructive. And you also mentioned that some other good things are happening, right? You got a job,
Yes,
right?
I
You
got a
got a new
job.
apartment.
Yes,
Right.
a new
And
place.
so when you were looking for a job in a town, right, that's got one stoplight, what does that look like? If people knew, right, these enablers, if they knew that you're using, could you find a job or how did that look for you?
What, before be able to find a job?
Well, either way, like in a town that's small, did people label you
But
and did they kind of know?
they definitely label you, but, me and my fiance have been doing such great work that they see it. They see the difference in us. They,
Yeah.
they applaud us. They take their time driving down the road, they'll pull over just to be like, "If anybody hasn't told you today, I'm proud of you." And we have a lot of
That's
people that it's
amazing.
finally, turn around and, see that we are sober and we are genuine and we are really trying.
That's that's unreal. Like, like, is the whole town like that? Like,
Yeah.
like everybody cheering you on?
Yes.
That's
Everybody.
that's actually that's outstanding. I mean,
Hey,
well,
down
I
to the
mean,
judge.
did you I mean, I'm sure you burned some of these people. They're
Yes.
not mad or they're not angry with you or that doesn't come up?
No. No. It has not come up yet at all.
Well, hey, I feel like what a gift that is
Yes.
to have that support. So, well, what new job were you able to get?
I am going to start working at a cell phone company inside of Walmart.
Okay. All right. Now
No,
you got one stoplight, but you got a
for
Walmart?
now, for now, but I just got done with that PRX class. And so I have some applications in at some recovery centers so that I can get working where I really want to be at.
Sure. Look, it all has a piece and a place in your journey, right? And so for myself, like I worked at Home Goods for $10 an hour, and it was like I was, and I only worked like 4 hours a day. It's what I had at the moment, and I knew, like, I'm like, well, I'm just gonna keep working in the background, with either education or whatever it may be, writing, whatever I could do outside of that, despite, not being the end all be all career, I was like, I'm just gonna keep working. And so here you are doing the same thing. It's the same thing. You've got a credential now, right? And
Yep.
that opportunity will show up for you. Now we don't know when that will be, but now you're ready, right?
Right. Yes.
And so to kind of go back to what you had mentioned about the Suboxone working, and I had asked, there's an option to get off of it. But I know that feeling of when things start to work, you just you just want it to keep working.
Yes. Yes.
You're like, "Hold on a second." Like, I'm catching my breath and, like, I wanna just kinda stabilize my feet before I make another move. And
Yes.
so I do pray that you'll make progress, which you clearly are, in all things, right? Whether it be your education, getting certifications, getting another job, these are massive leaps in a person's recovery journey, and it's a blessing that you've been able to accomplish that. Have you developed any like words of wisdom or have you gone over like the thought exercise of when you begin to actually work with these people as a peer a recovery specialist?
What do you No, I don't think so. I'm not sure yet. Like, you're meaning like what
Right.
my angle will be when I'm working with them? Like,
Well, like maybe just like a nugget of wisdom. Like what would you start to share with them so that they know that,
progress, not perfection.
progress, not perfection. Okay. Yeah. That's awesome. That's a winner. And honestly, it's so true because people will put off everything. because they think that this perfect moment is going to show up, and it just never will. And so it's always better to like just do something. And yeah, you're probably going to mess it up, but like that's not the point. The point is like, just make a tiny bit of progress and then, because I don't think perfection is ever actually going to truly happen, but
Definitely not
progress
with
can
me.
happen. Yeah. Yeah. Well, so how long have you officially been sober, like off of heroin?
20 months.
20 months.
Yes.
And so, like, did you have any at a year, right? 12 months. How did was that unique for you when you crossed over a years?
No, I was honestly a little bit disappointed in myself that I wasn't further along. I feel like I kind of did procrastinate my first year of getting sober, but I can't look back at that now. I should have, but I didn't start these things sooner. But, as somebody told me, I most likely wasn't ready then. So that's why they say it didn't happen then. It's happening now. Because just last week
Laura,
I said something about when am I going to see, a little something of all the hard work that I'm doing. And Sunday it started, and then till today, I've gotten nothing but good news.
isn't that amazing? And so
Yeah,
I
it's
feel
wonderful.
very fortunate that I'm getting to hear all this good news. And there's something to be said of feeling behind because I sometimes I'll think about that, right? Like so much of my life was just spent partying and just getting high and drunk. And then I'll look at some other people, that are as old as I am and like, they have a different lifestyle. And it's like, man, I could have gotten started earlier. But whoever told you that about, well, the timing, it wasn't meant to be, right? Because maybe you weren't the right person then. And that's really that's a really wise and it seems like probably a good friend to tell you something like that, but it's true. Right. Like you don't know what that would have looked like for instance, I've got a 2-year-old son. If I had had that son 8 years ago or 9 years ago or 10 years ago, I probably wouldn't be around to see him. I would have just ran and that's how I was. That's who I was. And so I had him when I was supposed to.
Right.
Yeah. Well, so you've been getting nothing but good news since Sunday.
You're
Is
right.
that correct?
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
What an amazing journey. And then now you've done your first podcast.
Yes. Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, and you and I got connected because you said that you wanted to share your story. And I think that it's an imperative part of all of our journeys, all of the people in the recovery community. It's kind of like a responsibility to reach back and, for people that are a little bit behind us or maybe just a couple steps behind us and kind of just help them along. And so it's really important. And I think it's really cool that you decided to share. So I want you to kind of send a message. Now think about it for just a second. But if you were to speak to say Laura like 3 years ago, or maybe that 6-year-old Laura. Well, and I know you haven't been working on this too long, right? But that's okay. Like what do you feel is the message that you would want to send to that person?
That you were strong and courageous and just very strong to make it through all that I made it through as a younger, as older, because there was a lot of factors that played into me using. So
Yeah,
everything that I went through, you can't overcome it. People can overcome a lot. A person can do anything, and I feel like I'm doing it.
I love it. Yeah. Well, I can see that you're doing it, right? So you are the proof. You're the message, right? And yeah, it's tough to see that when you're in the middle of it. It's very hard. It's very hard to understand that you're capable. I know I didn't.
I mean,
But
it's
when it
still it is
does finally
it is still hard, even your first few months, because you don't know any other thing. You don't know any other ways. You do gotta change your friends, places you hang. You have to change your whole life, and that's something new that most people, if you got sober, you don't know that. And that's all new to you. You have to learn that.
Yeah. And not only that, but for yourself, like, you only knew addiction as a child. Like, here you have a grandmother who I feel strongly she had a drinking problem,
Yeah.
and then you have a mother who's an addict. Like, how would you know any other way to be? How would you know any other way to be?
I don't. I don't know any other way. You know,
Yeah.
my mother contributed to, I mean, me using drugs as a young child before, not in my 30s, but she was one of the first people, to offer me drugs when I was not even a teenager yet. So yeah, I really
Well,
was kind of
here
doomed from the beginning.
and look at this. Look at what we have now, right? You're discovering that there's another path. You're turning your test into a testimony. You're using that testimony to spread that message, right? That you are strong enough. It is possible, right? And then we start to use that addict mentality, that mindset, that tenacity to accomplish so many things. And so I'm incredibly proud of you. I'm so very thankful that you decided to share your story with me. And I know it's not easy. And I do hope you catch a little bit of the bug of sharing your message either here or another podcast or starting your own podcast. I think that's all very cool. And so wherever you decide to send that message, I pray that it goes very well. And I'm going to do my very best to get some eyeballs on your story, Laura.
Okay.
And so that being said, this has been another episode of The Next Fix. I got my new friend Laura here, and I look forward to maybe catching up with her in the future, seeing what all the great opportunities the Lord has for her. It's all on the way, right? And so thank you so much, Laura, for your time. Till the next one.
Thank you.